So for the fifth pillar of building your ideal culture, building a great culture in your business, we have systems. Now, systems is probably the most daunting, most misunderstood word that we have in business, right? Because everybody thinks about systems as being this big, overwhelming operations manual that looks like an encyclopedia, and it's everything being detailed down. And so people are like, oh man, I need systems, but they don't even know what systems are, or what role they play in their business. Well, let me tell you that systems are really just a way of doing things, a process so that we can do things up to our standard of performance on a consistent basis. That's it. We know what that standard of performance is, just like we talked about in pillar number 4. So now all we have to do is document a process that allows us to perform at that level each time. Because if we do this, we can really meet that vision that we're looking for. We can empower our people to perform at a high level. They're going to succeed, and if they succeed, they're going to be happy. They're going to be better ambassadors for what we do. If you're kind of a sports person, a sports fan, or been involved in the sporting world, you'll hear the phrase kind of winning cures all. Well, that's part of it, right? If people can succeed overall, all the little things that people nitpick about seem to become smaller. It's not that every other little issue or problem goes away. It's just if the people that you have on your team, if they know what success looks like, if they know what that standard performance is, and you've given them a process to achieve at that level on a consistent basis, they're going to be happier. They're going to be more excited to come to work because they're going to feel fulfilled. They're going to feel like they're good at their work, and that's going to permeate every corner of the business. Same thing with training, right? I mean, if a client knows how to get where they're trying to go, I mean, that's all a training program is a system to get from point A to point B. And we do this every day. We're designing programs every day, or at least every week for our clients. A program is simply a process to get from point A to point B. So when we think about a system, really it's just documenting what we already do. It's documenting what we do well so that somebody else can do it, or so that we can do it that way every time. And when we think about it that way, it should be pretty easy. It should be pretty straightforward, right? I mean, if you need to hire other people, it's usually because there's too much demand for the supply of time that you personally can provide. It means that you're doing some things well enough that a lot of people want to be part of it, or more people than you personally can handle want to be part of it. So if training is that thing, it's, hey, there are too many people that want to train with me at these different time slots and everything else. So you're doing something right. All a system is documenting what you're doing right so that somebody else can do it at a similar level or in a similar fashion. Now, let's be realistic. They're not you. They're not the owner. They're not the leader of the business. So expecting them to do things at the 100% mark of the way you do them is probably an unrealistic expectation. It's an unrealistic kind of request because they're not the owner. So they don't have this kind of, intrinsic motivation to start a business and build it because it's almost like a family member to them, right? I mean, yeah, it'd be great if that's the case in some ways, but in other ways, if they were you and could do everything that you do at the level that you do it, then odds are they wouldn't be working for you. They'd be your competition. So when we're thinking about building that culture that we want, we need to have systems in place. We need to have these processes that document what we do well. And what you're going to find is you're going to have specialists within your business, because I believe that we're all specialists. I believe that we all have unique strengths that we bring to the table. And, in some areas, we're a 9 or a 10, right? Maybe that's coaching on the floor. Maybe that's selling. Maybe that's marketing. Maybe that's connecting with people. But there are areas we're a 9 or a 10, but there also are probably areas in our, in our professional lives that we're a 3 or a 4 or a 5. And you may very well have somebody on your team that has the potential to be a 9 or a 10 in those areas. I know for me, those areas would probably be like the administrative stuff, the detailed stuff, like somebody, doing a lot of the work with like Infusionsoft or web design, that side of things. I'm never going to be a 9 or a 10, no matter what I do, because those are not things I'm excited about. So I'm never going to develop myself in those areas to the level of being a 9 or a 10, even if I have the aptitude to potentially do it. I'm never going to do the work to get there. But you're going to have people on your team who may very well be excited about that, and they love that sort of thing. And it may seem really foreign to you to love that sort of thing, but if you can document a process to set them up to be successful there, they're going to take it and run, and they may very well improve on that process. And that's how things really grow, because they're connected to the vision, right? They know the values that you have in place, so the ways that they can make decisions, and they can use those values to help them decide, hey, how could we improve this process? How could we make this better in relationship to what success looks like, what that standard of performance looks like, so we can achieve our overall vision? That's how great processes are built. So when you think about building a business and you think about systems, that's where this fits into the big picture. It's not the first domino. The first domino is you setting the tone for everything else. And then the second is understanding what we're trying to achieve as a whole. Because, yeah, we can throw a bunch of systems out there. We can have everybody having every little detailed process under the sun. But if we don't know where those processes are trying to lead us, either this, what kind of standards we're trying to achieve, or why those standards are important at all as they relate to the overall vision of the business, then we're not going to go anywhere. So you see how we're kind of reverse engineering this whole thing, so we can ultimately set systems in place that allow our people to do great work on a consistent basis. And when they're doing great work, they're going to be excited. They're going to be people that really are making the clients better, and they're going to become leaders in their own right, because they're going to be leading by example, because they're going to say, hey, I'm excited about being here, and that's going to show. And they're going to be doing great work, and people kind of raising the bar, raising the standard, always is going to inspire the people around them to do better work as well, to perform at a higher level as well. So that's where systems fits into this whole kind of big picture. Hopefully that makes sense. And now we're through 5 of our 7 pillars, and you're seeing how this all kind of fits together and how you can build a really powerful and what I consider ideal culture for your business.